I believe the altcoins I'm going to discuss today are true millionaire makers in the sense that they'll get us a 20x or possibly more. And I think right now in this bull run, these aren't too common. A lot of projects have the capacity or ability to 20x. However, only a few really can. Just because a coin is a low market cap does not give it the inherent ability to make us 10, 20x, even a 5x. So make sure you pick these coins carefully. That is why I've chosen the ones I have today. And before we do get into it, guys, do not forget, if you find yourself enjoying this video or learning something new, help support all I do with a like down below. It takes 2 seconds. I really appreciate that. And subscribe. Let's begin. Now, before we kick things off, I've got to mention, because I know I'm going to get a lot of comments down below asking about this. I made a video 2 days, maybe 3 days ago at this point, talking about where altcoins will crash, I think 60%, if not more, in 2025, and that you should prepare to sell everything. And in that video, I talk about a super cycle. There's a lot of chatter going on right now about a possible super cycle thanks to the ETFs. And I decided to make a video addressing it, and that I am going to be selling everything this cycle because I do think altcoins will crash more than 60%. I got a lot of negative feedback on that video, right? Mainly from people who didn't actually watch the content, thinking that I went from being bullish throughout the whole entire history of my channel to all of a sudden being bearish in a bull market. Guys, the title and the thumbnail may make you believe that I'm selling everything right now, but if you actually read the title and watch the content for more than a couple seconds, you will realize I'm talking about a super cycle and the possibility that that probably won't happen and that altcoins will crash more than 60%. So I just wanted to give you all the heads up that no, if you watched that video and you didn't see the comments, I am not bearish. I am very much bullish. Regarding a super cycle, I don't think this time that happens. But again, if you want to learn more about that, watch that video. I just had to address it because I got so much negative feedback on that video because people didn't watch it, okay? So what I want to talk about first of all in this video, and we have to address this, guys, when talking about these coins, because we're talking about small caps here. And I don't like talking about this right now because we have such great opportunities to buy the large caps that can get us a 10x. And I don't think that you should be crying about a 10x, by the way. We don't need to look for these low caps right now, but this is for those of you who want to. Whatever you may be looking at in terms of multiples, no matter how small, how large, when you're looking for more multiples, that incurs more risk. So today we're looking for a minimum of a 20x. Now, I created this risk table here that I think best describes the risk we're looking to incur here, which is at 20x, which is basically 40%. That's close enough to 50% risk for me to say, essentially, when looking for a 20x-ish, you're essentially saying, I'm willing to, at this point, bet 50-50 that it happens. Because again, while a coin may be small, and for it to 20x might be not a lot of money to be invested into the coin, right? Maybe a couple $100 million and it's 20x'd. You've got to understand, for a coin to receive any amount of money like that, it has to be unique. It has to be interesting enough for people to want to go ahead and buy that. Okay, so again, anything of 5x or lower is generally good and easy to bet on from here, especially in the large caps. But anything above a 10x, no matter the size of the market cap, it could be the smallest coin in the world, it is a risky game. You're betting on there being interest in the coin. Not to mention as well, looking at these coins, we do put them inherently, because they are small, into the extremely high risk but very high reward category as well, which of course does come with its own set of benefits. All right. So of course, what we're aiming for here today is possibly making more money than you could on some of the larger cap coins. And all that to say, we are incurring more risk. The lower market cap, again, doesn't equal more gains. And also there's more of a chance for negative news to tank the coin substantially. And so that's one thing that people do tend to forget about with these small cap coins, is that they are extremely volatile. The smallest bit of FUD or any sort of positive or negative news can really swing these coins in either direction. And if you aren't, able to stomach those missing multiples or again, minus days, then you aren't, unfortunately, I think, risk averse enough to go that low. You can do it if you want, especially if you have a nice mixed up portfolio like this nice sheet here describes, where you might want to offset some missing gains up here, and you might want to offset that volatility and risk with some large cap coins. But ultimately, if you're just diving deep into the small caps, you're incurring risk, okay? So we're going to use today what I believe to be a great gauge in terms of liquidity, which is the GGR zones. If you're not familiar with the channel, I'm basically making sure that we try to get out as much as we can in the liquid or green zone. Price predictions are always the red zone, which is where you should never try to end up. So what's the first coin today? Well, the first coin is none other than Morpho. Now, Morpho is actually the largest market cap coin on this list by far. It's probably actually classified as a mid market cap right now, but I do believe is capable of 20xing. It is a DeFi, so it's a lending protocol on Base. It's been doing very well right now. It's actually held up quite nicely in this market volatility, which is a telltale sign to me that there's a lot of strength in the coin. Believe you me, there is a lot of upside here. How do I know this? Well, the TVL is 5.2 billion. Guys, the TVL keeps increasing for this coin. What does that actually mean? Well, if we have a look into a coin over here like Uniswap in the last cycle, the TVL was sometimes about a 5 or a 6x more than the market cap. Now, like I said here for Morpho, the current TVL is 5.2 billion, which means it's over 10x more than the current market cap. There is a point in these projects' life cycles where the market cap eventually catches up to and flips the TVL in these coins. Now, I believe this will happen for Morpho. So from here, I believe it's in 5 billion market cap and even more, okay? Because it is in great narratives. Again, Base, Eco, and DeFi. So these guys are also backed by some giants, S-tier investors like Pantera, IOSG, Coinbase. So, of course, there is that Coinbase listing on the horizon. There's 97 investors, guys, all up. So it's a very well-backed and funded project. We can see 9.4 billion market cap here for the 20x jump. Now, would I bet on that? Absolutely not. I wouldn't bet on it, not for this coin. The other coins in this list, yes. You'll see some coins here easily, I believe, able to reach a 20x, but for particularly Morpho, if you want to look at this coin here, non-financial advice, of course. So over here, $60 pretty much is the red zone. You want to be down here. I'm looking at a max green zone price here of about $39 or $40. So any more than that, I think you're incurring possible risk in the gray zone or in the red zone. Our next coin is Massa. This is a new layer one. This is where we're getting really small, okay? This is for you guys who love these small potential high multiple projects. Again, be very critical about the ones you pick here. Now, this coin, like I said, it's tiny, all right? But I made a video on this, about 4 months, actually. And it's done a nice 2x in that time. Now, that doesn't sound amazing, but remember, that 2x has come here even after the recent downturn. So it's done quite well for itself. Because it is a small cap, these particular projects aren't easy enough to gain that traction in that time as the large caps do. What is Massa? It's a new type of layer one. You can kind of compare it a little bit with SEI, S-E-I. In the sense, it's focusing primarily here on DeFi smart contracts. Okay, that's their sort of claim to fame. Their claim to fame is with these autonomous smart contracts. And so what are autonomous smart contracts? Well, essentially, like in this first example here, if there is a DeFi application on a layer one, let's say it's Morpho, like on Base, and let's just say that someone wants to interact with, Morpho and pull out some money, borrow some money. Well, in this case, a centralized server would be notified. Let's say it's Amazon, and then Amazon would let the smart contract know, hey, someone wants to activate something. Can you do it? That, of course, opens up some possible errors and some room for malicious activity, right? And so what these guys do is do it all on-chain. You don't need oracles, none of that sort of stuff. It's all baked into the layer one itself. So it is unique in the sense that it pretty much puts everything on the layer one, right? It's completely decentralized in that sense. When you also compare that as well to the fact that the Nakamoto coefficient for these guys is 1,000, apparently, meaning it is extremely decentralized. This pretty much means how many nodes on the network are required to overtake the network. The more, the obviously harder it is to overthrow and beat it. Now, this project is still very, very new, so this hasn't been battle tested and tried. This is a claim to fame, but it is something worth noting, of course, because that is some of the reasons people might want to get involved with it, because it is seemingly very decentralized and very much so all on the blockchain. Now, for the 20x for this coin, we're looking at $1.15. So again, the market cap associated with that 20x is only 260 million. So yes, that's seemingly like, oh, that's very easy to hit compared to other coins getting multiple billions. But again, is Massa the project to gain that much attention? There are a lot of layer ones out there, but of course, Massa is unique. So if you guys want to obviously get involved with that, you can of course come down here to any of these exchanges. It's not on a lot, which is kind of a good thing, because if it does launch on some, you can imagine what may happen to the price. So what about AI? Right? Well, I've got a great AI, small micro cap here for you all. $6 million, Sinesis One. I've been talking about these guys now for quite some time, and you'll be surprised at where this project can go. Matter of fact, it's pretty much already been at a 20x before. It's a matter of time, I believe, before it does go back. This project is right into the X to earn or train to earn, play to earn narrative, as well as AI, as well as gaming. It's the intersection of some pretty big narratives, but I believe it does actually solve a genuine problem in crypto. It's not just promising, it does. So they're backed by a lot of VCs as well. LD Capital S tier, we have D1 S tier, Kinetic S tier, NGC S tier, and GBIC also S tier as well. So they have some pretty big backers, which is obviously a very, very good sign. It's not the be all and end all, but it is a good sign, right? Now, what these guys do is look to leverage you to help train AI models to do things that AI can't inherently learn by itself. So we as humans can help hone in the linguistics, hone in particularly playing games to help the AI model learn over time what maybe the best path in a racing game is and all the rest of it. But I do want to also talk about some comparisons in the last cycle. I don't often do this because I feel like it's kind of a waste of time, but I do think that in the X to earn space where Synesis I think will really gain traction, this is, I think, there's a massive void for this cycle in this narrative, particularly for what Synesis is actually trying to do, okay? So these guys going to another project called Sweat, which is where you pretty much could have walked and earned tokens based on like movement in the last cycle. Going back to Sweat's all-time high is actually a 20x pretty much from the current price, which I believe is very realistic. Now, I think a kind of like hyperbolic example of where it could go to is Axie Infinity's market cap. Now, currently, Axie's market cap is 128x larger than Synesis. There's a pretty big upside potential here, and the all-time high is a whopping 1,200x. Now, don't look at that and think to yourself, I'm going to aim for 1,000x. Absolutely not. It could do that. Those brave enough to hold off for 1,000x, well, I congratulate you if Synesis can do that. But again, mark my words, the more multiples we go, the more things have to go right. Okay, if we're talking about like the GGR zones, to go maybe to a price here, which is maybe 1,000x or even 100x, so many things along the path have to go right. If one thing doesn't, it's going to flop the coin and you may not end up getting out anywhere near that particular price, which is why I tell you guys to just be rather safe than sorry. But I'm personally invested in Synesis 1 because I do think it has a high multiple potential. Now, the 20x, it's $136 million. And like I said, actually, it got very close to where it was back earlier in this year in March. So you thought Synesis was good, hitting the AI gaming and also train to earn model. Well, this next coin is called Pinlink. And this one hits AI, deepen, and real-world assets. Yes, that's right, the three largest narratives of the bull run. How does it do this? Well, I'll talk about that in just a second here, but I do want to say, guys, before I get into the fact that these guys have only listed on 2 exchanges, one A-tier centralized exchange and one DEX, and they're 168 million market cap, that's absolutely phenomenal. I want to thank Pinlink because, guys, they've partnered with the channel here to bring you this information today. So big shout out to Pinlink as well. Now, how do these guys approach 3 narratives? How do they do this? Well, it's by allowing us to rent out our idle computing power, that's GPU, CPU, anything that a computer can possibly manage that is idle, to the market on their upcoming marketplace over here. And then people, of course, can rent this out for AI, large language models, or to render things, whatever they may want to do with GPU or CPU power. Now, here's the real differentiator for this project versus the competition, and that is the real-world asset aspect. What we can do as people who already rent this out, receiving one type of revenue model, is we can actually tokenize our GPU and CPU and so on, allowing people to actually buy a fraction of our computing power, therefore receiving a fraction of the rewards, in which we can actually gain more rewards in turn as well. So it's fractionalizing your computing power. Okay, it's pretty impressive. Now, these guys have a possible Binance listing in the works. Again, they're only on a few exchanges right now, literally just Uniswap, which is the bare minimum, and MEXC, arguably the bare minimum. Okay, so a lot of upside potential here. They just completed a space with Binance, so I think that there is a possible listing coming up here. I believe CZ will likely begin ushering in a lot of new AI deep-in projects here very soon because he has been quite vocal about ushering in the utility wave and moving away from like the meme coin wave. Now, they actually have a very strong co-founder here. This guy actually used to work here, Lucas, at Engine. Now, if you guys know, Engine was a massive infrastructure gaming play of the last cycle. It's still quite a large contender of this cycle, in which Engine ended up being a $4 billion valued project, so quite large. And these guys have also partnered with a massive AI player, which is Fetch or ASI, in that they're looking to strategically bring on AI agents as well. So of course, agents are a massive narrative as well. So it just seems like Pinlink is really nailing down on the most important narratives of the cycle and actually having like a viable product, right? So these guys at a 20x will be a $3.5 billion market cap. So under where the founder's previous project engine went to. Now, do I believe it can? I believe likely Pinlink is one to push the bounds of a potential 20x. Now, I believe the GGR zones are the most important thing to do here for a coin like Pinlink, where I do believe that the price prediction here is probably, again, around the top. In that $43 being the price prediction, I think around $28 or so would be where you kind of want to entertain the last sort of sell level to be and try to aim as low as you possibly can. So moving off the Pinlink RWA hype train, I want to bring you a new RWA project that has a lot of people quite surprised because these guys have a massive goal and dream, but the shocking thing is they're actually already doing it. I'll explain here more in a second. So Lingo is the project, 37 million market cap, like the other coins, not on too many exchanges, pretty much like the A/B tier bare minimum. So we have a massive price appreciation potential from a Binance or Coinbase listing, only just recently launched about 10 days ago. Now, what I like about Lingo and how they do things differently to other RWA coins is like Pinlink, where they kind of take a real life asset like your GPU, for example, and then you tokenize that, and then other people can buy into it by fractionalizing the ownership. Well, these guys actually tokenize things like a Nike gift card, for example, or a PlayStation 5, or even a hotel or a hotel room. And to do this, you have to have some pretty big partnerships, right? You have to already be in talks with Nike, PlayStation, in massive hotels as well. But that's the thing. That's a massive goal many projects in the space only tell you they want to achieve, but they are very far off actually acquiring that. These guys aren't. Okay, they're already partnered with 3,000 brands across 80 countries and have 100,000 hotels they can pull from to allow us to actually receive rewards based on the fees accrued in Lingo. So again, this is all thanks to, again, it's not always what you know in terms of your technical ability, but who you know. This is all thanks to their team members. Their team members have allowed them to expand their network before they even launched a token, right? Google, Microsoft, Booking.com. They've also got connections with Binance. That gives me a great confidence, if you will, a booster, that there could be a possible Binance listing in the future. Now, again, the team here is the most important thing I want to point out. Without going deep into it, because we are running out of time in this video, I did want to mention one particular massive standout member of the new team, which is Duncan. Now, Duncan is actually part of BlackRock. This guy is actually not just part of BlackRock, he's a head of significant shareholding. So he's a part of their advisory board, and like we've seen with other RWA coins in the space, okay, larger ones, multi-billion-dollar projects with connections to Securitize and BlackRock, this means one thing and one thing only: huge possible price appreciation. Now, nothing's ever guaranteed. Like I said, these small caps bring inherent risk. And so in saying that, what is the possible price in which Lingo could go to? Well, from today's price, it's give or take around $6.40 or a $760 million market cap. So not even breaking into the 1 billion, and we're a potential 20x here. The price itself has actually done quite well. Okay, since the sort of recent shock the market's gone through in the last week or two, it's actually held up quite well. It's lost 50% of its value, but let me remind you guys, other projects, the large caps, have done the same. So for a new small cap to only lose the same, if not slightly less value in this time, it's quite remarkable, really. Now, I think a massive narrative of the bull run that hasn't taken off just yet is the Near protocol ecosystem. So Ref is a project I've mentioned a couple of times in a few different videos talking about potentially high multiple coins here. And that's because it's a 10 million market cap, but just like Morpho on a smaller scale, this coin has a $65 million TVL, which, while that TVL isn't impressive by any means, of course, respects to coins like Morpho with $5 billion in TVL, that's still a 6x more than its current market cap. So like I said with Uniswap, we usually expect some of the quality DeFi coins in their narratives or in their ecosystems tend to overcome the market cap of their TVL. So given the TVL doesn't move from here, I believe that's a 6x in the tank for Ref. Near has brought on some of the features here to allow the TVL and therefore, of course, the interest in projects like Ref to flourish with partnerships like MetaMask. Because if you think about it, the more people have access to that ecosystem's projects on a wallet like MetaMask, which we all pretty much have, the better. which means there's less barriers to entry into the ecosystem, which means coins like Ref, which by the way is the #1 DEX on Near Protocol, to flourish. Of course it'll flourish, right? Again, it's only on Near. It is the de facto DEX, just like Aerodrome is the de facto DEX of Base. If the ecosystem gains as much attention, or even half the amount of attention as Base has done for Aerodrome, it's going to go absolutely parabolic. Now, from here, it's just pretty much going back to all-time highs. A 20x is a 200 mil market cap. So do I think it has the potential to do this? Absolutely. That's non-financial advice. That's my hedge into the Near ecosystem. Our second to last coin here is a full gaming infrastructure project called Xborg. Now, Xborg is actually a spin-off here of Swissborg, so they kind of work hand in hand. Swissborg is an exchange, but they obviously have some massive partners. So Xborg, sort of being a spin-off from Swissborg, has itself already potentially a lot of partners to come in the near future, catalysts, if you will. But the reason that I like these guys is that Swissborg is looking to do things differently than just be a place where games can be built. What they're trying to do here is create the largest identity-based ecosystem in crypto, okay? So decentralized identity, which I believe is possibly going to be a bit of a narrative this cycle, DIDs they're often called. And it's pretty much as easy as creating an Xborg ID and allowing your information, so everything that you kind of end up building up on one game, to be cross-transferable into other games as well. Now, why this is cool is because if you work your ass off on one game and build your score up and maybe participate really deeply in the governance of that game itself, that can actually earn you some rewards or increased benefits in other games, okay? You can just pretty much carry across some of those features. And also it may enable, to some degree, depending on what is developed on Xborg itself, a pretty unique individual player experience, depending on the AI and all the rest of it, okay? So they also are planning, of course, to be their own infrastructure. Like I said, with the launch pad, they're planning to launch games as well. And they have a pretty stacked lineup. I'll get to this here in a minute, with upcoming roadmap events as well. Now, in the stack of the market caps, like these guys are probably like middle ground, if you will, in terms of the gaming coins. We have major competitors up here like Immutable X, Beam, Gala, and Ronin being significantly higher. So the upside potential is definitely here. Now, Team Liquid have partnered with Xborg already, which is very impressive. Team Liquid are one of the largest esports teams in the world. And where Xborg comes in is utilizing their digital ID infrastructure, right? The Xborg ID, into their already existing infrastructure they've created here for their fans, okay? So it's going to allow their fans to have more customizable avatars, increased personalization, digital asset ownership, and faster reward loops, which can be, of course, brought over to other Xborg ID associated games or reward systems. So that's pretty cool. Again, big names, big partnerships. It's always who you know, not what you know. Remember that, guys. They also do have a stacked roadmap, like I mentioned before, in that already in Q1 of this coming year, they're launching 5 apps with top esports teams. In Q2, they're doing things like launching the world's first on-chain esports team, launching their flagship AI product, and opening Xborg ID to third-party integration, so really branching out here in Q3. And lastly, Q4, launching the Xborg blockchain, so true infrastructure, and also kicking off the accelerator program. These are the key milestones I'm personally eyeing off. These are catalysts, guys. You're looking at buying a coin, you've got to find catalysts. Key points of where interest will likely come in, and buy the rumor. We obviously buy much sooner. And then when people buy the rumor, because they've bought in so early, we sell the news. Okay, that's what happens in crypto. Now, we don't have a chart here for Xborg per se, but it's looking like about a $7.20 token price for a 20x from here, which would be, roughly speaking, a 1.2 billion market cap. That's quite high. Now, can Xborg do it? Possibly yes, but this is another classic case of using the GGR zones and trying to go 35% lower than I think $7.20 just to be a bit safer. It's one of the coins that can do it, but again, it's got so much to still go, you're better off safe than sorry. And the last coin, I'm going to be very quick here because this is a coin I've spoken about a lot and I've made full videos on this. So if you want to learn more, type it on YouTube, NOBS Crypto, Flux Network. If you told me, Kyron, you had to pick one coin at a 200 mil market cap to get to 10 billion market cap, your life depends on it, I'm picking Flux. I'm picking Flux, right? Without a shadow of a doubt. This coin is literally competing with Microsoft, Google, and Amazon, and no one knows about it. I do not know why. I feel like this is a ticking time bomb. So what is Flux? Flux is a layer 1, proof of work, fairly mined blockchain. So it's right up the crypto bro alley. It's a fork of Bitcoin. It's a fork of Bitcoin, basically. And it does all this being energy efficient. So because it's proof of work, all of the energy required to run the blockchain, the wasted energy that the greenies complain about Bitcoin sort of producing, well, all of that wasted energy is actually put back into running AI and large language models. I'll show you more here in a second. And like I said, again, it competes with major competitors. Look at how cheap it can run things like 32 gigabytes of memory and 100 gigabytes of storage versus Google Cloud, Amazon, and Microsoft. I mean, it's quite impressive, right? They have 13,000 actual nodes on the network. They have a third of the supply locked up, which is obviously fantastic. And as I say, they are really doubling down on the AI component of the project. Like ever since probably the last 12 months, I've noticed their social media, they are ramping up significantly here, their promotion of their AI products and also the development of their AI products. You can also instantly boot up nodes on some of these major layer 1 projects like Potenza. Literally just click install and you have a fully decentralized Potenza node earning you Tau tokens here on Flux that's had historically zero downtime, mind you, way cheaper than what you would find on Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, and Amazon Web Service. So again, I think a 20x here, a $4.5 billion market cap only makes sense. Okay, now would I bank on it going to 10 billion or 4.5 billion? No. You guys know I'm a bit more conservative as a person in crypto here because I've been through a cycle and experienced life-changing money and seen it going away, right? So I follow a different approach to investing than most of the guys probably watching this video. But I dare say, again, if there is a coin out there, non-financial advice, to go to 10 billion market cap from the 200 mil market cap level, it's got to be Flux. So I think a 20x from here is definitely on the cards at $12. It's all been non-financial advice, by the way. And again, this is just my personal input based on the quality of the projects and their niche size. They're all in great niches in their own right here. We just require some of these catalysts to really launch them off. So with that being said, guys, thank you all for watching this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. Take good care out there, guys. Appreciate it. Talk to you soon.